Will these strong finishes change how you feel in 2026? We spoke about Tanner Bibee earlier. What about Luis Castillo, who was incredible against the Rockies in Seattle? Probably the best matchup you can have, but he took advantage. 7 1/3 innings, 1 hit, 1 run, 10 strikeouts to 0 walks. The 10 strikeouts, his most in a start since July 19th of 2023. So it's been a very long time there for Luis Castillo. He's turned in 4 straight quality starts, and during that span, it's 3 earned runs over 25 1/3 innings. What do you guys think? Will this strong finish change how you feel about Luis Castillo?
You know the goose meme where it's like the goose is chasing someone and they're like, what, you know that? You know what I mean? I'm explaining this really well. Yeah. The goose is saying, what happened 5 starts ago? Because Luis Castillo looked completely cooked 5 starts ago. He had one of the worst months of his life. In August, gave up 18 runs in 24 1/3 innings. His first start in September was 5 earned runs in 4 innings. I remember writing, I think we're done here. I think this is he's been faking it for most of the season, and it's caught up to him. And, well, now he just put together his best month of the season, I guess. So I don't think this should change how you feel about Luis Castillo. He is a 32-year-old. I think he'll be 33 next season. That's usually how that works. Goes one number up. He's going to finish with, what, a 350-something ERA, 354. xERA is closer to 4. It's the highest it's ever been, or at least highest since 2018. Strikeout rate, lowest it's ever been. He's lost that outlier fastball. He hasn't found a way to generate consistent whiffs without the outlier fastball. I still think there's a pretty good chance Luis Castillo is not on the Mariners next season, and I don't think that's a guarantee, but I think there's a decent chance.
Like they trade him?
Yeah, I don't think there should be. Like, I think
he'll be drafted. I
think
you should
use
approach
him.
I think Castillo, you should approach kind of like you approached Jose Barrios this year.
Sure.
As kind of, you know the ERA is going to be in the high 3s. You know the WHIP's going to be probably just a little shy of 1.2 in a good scenario.
Maybe better as a points league play, just as an innings eater type.
Yeah, just kind of a boring innings eater type. And look, it could go like the bottom could fall out. It kind of happened to Jose Barrios this year, but as deep as starting pitcher is, these kinds of pitchers populate every fantasy rotation, and I think that's where Castillo is, and I think it's fine. Incidentally, this big start he had against the Rockies might be the reason I win the podcast for the People League. Between this Castillo start and Gavin Williams' 12 strikeout start yesterday, got a commanding lead here in the final week. So we'll see. Hoping to win 3 of 5, 3 in the last 5 years for the People League.
And didn't you used to hate that league?
I used to joke that Heath because Heath Cummings set it up years ago with these really unconventional rules, and I used to joke that he set it up just to troll me. The whole league, all the rules were just a big troll on me.
That doesn't sound like Heath, though.
Oh yeah, I used to call him Master Troll too, because he loved to troll. Presumably still does. I don't know. I don't interact with him much these days. Love Heath, but we just our jobs don't intersect much anymore. And yeah, I used to struggle with it, but I think I've gotten a handle on the For the People League.
So what that tells me is if you win again, it's time to change the rules.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So that we can just kind of end this winning streak for Scott. What about Jackson Merrill, who is finishing strong as well? Hit his 16th home run last 16 games, 318 batting average, 7 homers. OPS over 1,100. Looks like he's changed the approach, too. It's a lot more fly balls, hitting the ball extremely hard. Maybe he's just finally healthy. I don't know. You guys mentioned, Scott mentioned 2 names earlier, Jarren Duran, Wyatt Langford. Do you think Jackson Merrill will be drafted ahead of those guys?
Way ahead.
Really? They feel
I think so, yeah.
Kind of all similar to me. I don't know.
Wait. Ask the question again.
Do you think Jackson Merrill will be drafted ahead of Jarren Duran and Wyatt Langford next season?
And Chris, you said way ahead?
I think so, yeah.
Huh.
I think they're all kind of similar.
I was I would have thought he'd be drafted behind both.
Interesting.
Just because he's less of a steals threat by a lot. I mean, I think he's fast enough to steal bases, but he hasn't shown that inclination. And he hit the worst of the three this past year. So
he did hit. Well, his OPS is Wyatt Langford has a lower OPS than 774, right?
They're probably similar, I would imagine.
Yeah. The thing you have to keep in mind with Merrill, he only played 112 games. He missed
Langford 775 on the nose.
Okay. But he only played 112 games, so that's obviously keeping the counting stats low. And the other thing you have to keep in mind with regards to that is he missed time with a concussion. And I think he only missed a week. But he was having exactly the season we hoped he would before the concussion, if I'm remembering correctly. And then that was really when things took a dive. It was like mid-June. He had an 823 OPS. He was hitting 304. And after that is when things really took a dive. So I think that is a perfectly reasonable explanation. He is still the youngest of this group. He's 22. He's still had the best season of them, 2024. I think his 2024 was better than Jarren Duran's.
No, Duran's was better.
Duran's was better?
I believe so.
Okay. Either way, there's like a 6-year age difference between those two guys, so I'll still take Jackson Merrill. Maybe I'm off on that one, but I still think Jackson Merrill should be drafted as a top 15 outfielder next season.
That feels aggressive. I'm not saying he can't do it. I just don't know that there's going to be enough enthusiasm for him.
You might not have to.
What's a deep position?
Sure. Yeah, you might not have to do it
to get him in that top 15 or even the top 25. But I
think top 25 easily. Yeah.
Okay. Regarding the steals, by the way, he went from 16 last year to just 1 this year. He also went on the IL twice this season, once with a hamstring and once with an ankle sprain. So perhaps
it was like a bone bruise too, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was actually a bone bruise in his ankle. So 1 ankle injury, 1 hamstring injury. So I think perhaps that could have played into Jackson Merrill running less this season. Francisco Alvarez, 1 for 2 with a walk in his 11th home run. Updated numbers since returning from the minors: 38 games, 286 batting average, 8 homers, 21 runs, 21 RBI, a 968 OPS. Chris, I asked you about Alvarez yesterday, so Scott, I'll get your thoughts here. Is this strong finish change your mind at all about how you feel about Francisco Alvarez?
Sure. I have more hope for him. I feel like his whole career, and he's only going to be 24 next year, so he's still very young, but he's been around for a few years now, and you always have to kind of dig for the optimism with Francisco Alvarez. And, he's had 2 big IL stints this year, so it's kind of the same thing. I am done ranking catchers. I have him 15th in Roto, which doesn't sound very impressive, but 14th is Kyle Teal, 16th is JT Realmuto. So that's partly just the state of catcher right now. You don't have to gamble on Alvarez's upside, except in 2 catcher leagues. But he's hit the ball as hard as basically any catcher this year. I think Cal Raleigh's the one exception. I think maybe Ben Rice is up there too.
This is one that I've seen very little discussion of, and I wonder if it's going to go under the radar in a way that drops him to 18th at catcher. And if that's the case, I'll be all over Francisco Alvarez.
So to drop him to 18th, he'd have to go behind, at least in my rankings, Realmuto, I mentioned, Austin Wells, and Dylan Dinkler. That's
where do you have Alejandro Kirk?
18.
You have him ahead of
19.
Okay.
Kirk is 19.
Yeah.
Kirk is 14 in head-to-head points, 19 in Roto.
Yeah, if Alejandro Kirk could score runs at all, he'd be pretty good.
Did you guys see the Blue Jays game ended today with Alejandro Kirk getting thrown out at first base on a line drive that he hit to right field?
Oh, man.
See that.
So it was a single, and it was just the guy unloaded a can into first.
In the game?
And it wasn't close. He was out by a lot.
He is second percentile sprint speed. So
at least it wasn't a close game.
Josh Naylor, third percentile sprint speed.
Addison Barger was on second base. He was like, "You got to be kidding me, man!" He was so upset.
What's interesting about catcher, since we're in this conversation, and it probably sounds really deep based on me saying Alvarez 15th, Real Muto 16, and on and on. Here's a list of players who won't be eligible at catcher to begin next year, who I couldn't rank at the position. Ivan Herrera, Carter Jensen, Moises Ballesteros. All of them could very early on enter the catcher pool and make it that much deeper. Wilson Contreras also losing catcher eligibility, but obviously he's not going to gain it.
Yep. Last name here is Matt Shaw, who went 3 for 4 with a sock and a shoe, his 13th home run, his 17th steal. He hasn't exactly been hitting well in September, but the second half overall has been pretty good. 267, 11 homers, 6 steals, 859 OPS for Matt Shaw. I can't see drafting him as my starting third baseman next year. I don't know if you guys feel differently. He feels like more of a corner infielder, Matt Shaw, next season.
He's not far in the rankings, but I would certainly prefer to have a better third baseman than Matt Shaw starting. But as a middle infielder, as a corner infielder with the all-around skill set and projecting a little bit of growth, I think he's reasonably interesting. I will say I'm getting a little Scott Kingery vibes here. Where
I think he's already been better than Kingery. Maybe Kingery had one good season.
I think Kingery did have one decent season, but it might have been deeper. No, his second season was 19 homers, 15 steals.
It is so unimpressive, the data set for Matt Shaw in a way that's reminiscent of Kingery. I mean, the main reason I'm holding out hope for him, because it's I think I'm 16th at third base for next year, which sounds okay. That's borderline. It's mostly because third base is so bad. Yeah. I've been really disappointed in Matt Shaw this year. The main reason I hold out hope isn't really anything he's done, but just the fact he was a first-round pick just a couple years ago. So even coming into the draft, he was highly regarded. And he was one of these players who stormed through the minors in less than a year and got to the majors very quickly. So maybe the Cubs just got over their skis with him, promoting him this quickly. And, understandably based on the way he performed, but he hasn't grown into being a major league caliber player yet. And that's the hope I have for Shaw, which is kind of it's not as concrete as I think most people would look for.
You said you have him 16th?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's right.
I might go 18th.
Okay.
Do you have Vientos ahead of him?
I have Vientos one spot behind Shaw. Okay. And a big reason for that is the Brett Beatty factor.
Sure. What about Addison Barger?
Is he top 12? I have Barger one spot ahead of Shaw.
Okay.
So.
I do too.
Barger, Shaw, Vientos.
I have Jordan Lawler right behind him, and obviously Shaw has done more than Jordan Lawler because he has done something at the major league level.
Yeah,
I have
Lawler a few spots behind.
I might rather just roll the dice on Lawler. I don't know
in a shallow league. In a shallow league, yes, but I try not to rank for the shallowest context because although 12-team leagues are mainly what I have in mind, which I wouldn't consider shallow anyway. I'd consider that middle of the road. Depth-wise. But obviously, I only have one set of rankings league size-wise, and so they kind of have to be all things to all leagues.
Yeah. With Matt Shaw, I do think there's a chance he could run more next season as well. He's 89th percentile sprint speed, and the Cubs are third as a team in stolen bases this season. Mm-hmm. So it seems like he at least has the speed and the tools to run more next season. So I think it could happen with Matt Shaw.